Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Brian if you're new around here, and what I want to do for you today is break down my approach when it comes to fishing, especially as it relates to leveling up as quickly as possible, if that's your goal. Now, my enjoyment usually is going to be what takes priority over just efficient hardcore grinding, but I've been getting a lot of questions as it relates to fishing in New World, and I thought I'd just give you guys the information in hopes to help set you on your way to both fishing fun and profitability. At the end of the day, feel free to take anything that this guide shares with you and toss out what you don't like, and hopefully this answers all your questions. Gansers is a new word that we just invented today, by the way. If you like that word Gansers, hit that like button. But all jokes aside, it's my hope that after this video, you're going to have the tools that you need, some resources that are going to make your life easier, and more when it comes to fishing in this game. So first and foremost, here I am. To fish, you just need to go up to any kind of body of water, press F3 to be able to pull out your rod and reel, and F4 in this case to equip various bait. Now, you're going to find that certain bait is going to work better in certain types of water, and you also want to pay attention to what the bait bonus says. In this case, it's certain bait's going to give you different levels of bonuses. In this case, like oyster bait in fresh water is going to give me a large boost to catching bigger fish. Why do you want to catch bigger fish? Bigger fish are going to give you more experience when it comes to fishing. Also, and note that if I'm like right here in one of my favorite fishing spots, earlier on, you're going to unlock a 2-star fishing spot right out here in near Everfall, just south of the Arturcurius there. You can go fish here very easily. You won't be disturbed by any enemies. But note that, like, if I just do a light cast, I'm going to land in shallow water. Do you need bait to fish? Absolutely not. Bait will only increase the odds of you catching a fish and the time it takes to actually reel and land a fish. You'll notice that regarding kind of like casting for the maximum range, that actually is an improvement and reduction in time, because even if you do a short cast, you'll find that the game will fight you a little bit on it. So doing short casts aren't going to necessarily net you what you want. Now, one of the reasons you want to kind of focus here on hotspots, and in this case, you can see here it's a 2-star hotspot. This is going to have the best respawn time and the best resource time when casting. Now, you see here I'm going to miss, so I'm going to go ahead and try to recast again and get myself landing in the hotspot. Notice one thing real quick. It's really pretty much instant to where you go and you can start reeling in your fish. Now, also from a money or monetary perspective, what I would highly recommend you do is go to the different town boards, and any town board that has fishing on it, pick those up. Not that you're actually going to turn those in, but it's going to tell you exactly what you need. Now, also, when you catch a rare fish, you'll see this slight angle change in the cutscene. I'm going to show you guys how you can actually cancel out of that to reduce your overall time. See if I can actually get a good cast in here. And landing on the hotspot. And the reason why you see me actually go ahead and reset that cast is being that this area that I'm in right now is shallow, meaning it's going to take longer. If you can find yourself deep water is going to help you out dramatically when it comes to reducing the amount of time it takes to hook the fish, but also in the size of fish that you get. What you want to do whenever you get that little animation, you want to go ahead and then just go ahead and click out of it and get that cast going. From an efficiency and a speed perspective, every time you can have your line in the water, the reduction in that's going to save you countless amounts of time. Again, you don't actually need bait to fish, and so if money is a issue, note that, yeah, just go fish, don't equip any bait, and then keep going from there. But you're going to suffer from a reduction in the size of the fish you get, and you're going to also suffer a reduction in the amount of time it takes to actually hook a fish. You're not getting additional XP because you're using bait. You're getting it because you're actually catching larger fish, and you're catching them in a much faster way. Now, there's two schools of thought here, and I want to point you to Windsward, because Windsward is going to be where you actually pick up your Fisherman's Quest. These are going to start showing up in your journal under skill progression, and I highly encourage you to follow the full quest line with all priority, because at the end of the day, you'll get a legendary fishing rod. It's going to be random out of a pool of multiple different rods that you get, but you're going to want to get this fishing rod because you're doing the work anyway. By just fishing and leveling by fishing, you're automatically doing the things that the quest literally wants you to do, and what it's going to end up blessing you with is going to be various different fishing gear that you can kind of see listed here. I've got harvester there you go, fisherman's, etc. So you'll end up with 500 gear score, a whole fisherman set, by also doing the quest line. So just keep in mind that you're doing the work anyway. You might as well get credit for it, because if you don't and you end up deciding to go backwards and do the fisherman quest down later in your gameplay history, you're going to find yourself actually going and fishing in the same spots that you already discovered, doing the same thing with the fish that you've already done. Remember, that kicks out here in Westward, and you're going to be looking for fisherman Michael Shields. He's going to give you the initial quest, and that's going to basically just take you all over Eternum. Now, you'll actually benefit by being higher level when doing your fisherman quest, because it will take you over the entire world. But if you're doing this alongside your leveling, you're going to get to a part where you actually finish level 60, you've explored the zones, you've got a lot of these teleport spots open up, and you might be maybe around level 50 or 60 as a fisherman, and thus you only really have 140 levels to really kind of hardcore grind. And you're going to have the resources to make it easier for you to do so, because you've already unlocked teleport spots and you've already unlocked a certain level of gear. So now let's talk about speed, and let's go ahead and use this hotspot as an example. Hotspots are shared, so if people are all coming to this location, they could farm this hotspot up, and you might miss out on necessary XP. This is also shallow water, and this is where using your inn and having at least one house is going to save you all kinds of time. You can teleport back to your inn every 30 minutes for free. No problems, no questions asked. But having a house will actually allow you to teleport to your house and then teleport to any other location that you see fit. If you want to hotspot hop, note, and you got to factor in the amount of time it takes you to teleport from one place to another. Now, ultimately, what I would recommend you do is try to find either fresh or salt water that's got deep water in it, and also then has either most likely a 2-star rarity spot, because that's going to have the quickest respawn time for you to keep farming up. And then you're also fishing in deep water, which increases the likelihood of you getting certain drops and more experience possible. Now, this is where the resource New World map, and I'll include a link in the description, fits in. You can actually track all the various hotspots, and you can put your cities and your little teleports. So if you're looking for something specific, note that as you just level up your fisherman, you can actually see various different hotspots that unlock as you level them up. Now, you're going to have to pair this with the map, because not all hotspots are going to be open up for you. In fact, some of my favorite hotspots didn't open up until later in the game. And to highlight that again, I really enjoy this one as a good starter hotspot. You want to make sure you're hitting that as quickly as possible. But as soon as you can, you want to jump out here to Reekwater, and you want to run to this rare fishing spot right here. And let me show you what it does for you. So here I am in my favorite fishing spot currently in the game, and I'm going to go ahead and equip some, we'll just equip some glowworm bait and start casting. Now, I haven't actually equipped my different gear, but you can see here, even if I miss the spot, I can go, I'm already in deep water, meaning it's automatically going to have a less amount of time that I have to spend and wait for a fish to bite. So even on a miss, it's worth my time to go ahead and keep my reel or rod or line, whatever you want to call it, in the water itself. Now, what I can also do here is I can actually try and back up, so I can work on trying to get those max casts to increase the amount of time or reduce the amount of time it takes, while also trying to hit the hotspot in question. You're gonna have to take a little bit of time to kind of line it up overall. Let me go ahead and just actually choose a miss on that one and see how far I can get. Depending on your rod and the time of day and the various different perks, you might end up having a little bit of a difference in it. Now, before I had my legendary fishing rod, my max cast was actually I was like probably 10 feet in front of that tree that you're looking at right now before it was able to get the cast in place. Now, you can see here, obviously, if you're brand new to fishing overall, you don't want to let your tension get too high and let the line snap, but you can kind of give it a little bit of give and go. And depending on the type of fish, sometimes you can kind of start to depict the type of fish. Like, I was talking and I broke my line. All right, still too short for a deep cast. Let's back up one more time and try to continue to shoot for that maximum length cast which is going to make it easier to reel in. But you can see here, obviously snapping your line is wasted effort. That's loss of XP. That's loss of XP per hour. Now, what I would recommend just as essentially a sanity check is I wouldn't like mainline fishing as your like be all end all sprint to the end, sprint to 200 goal, but rather kind of set across a list of basically like if you could hit like what, 1 level a day, 2 levels a day, based off the number of levels a day that you think you can end up hitting when it comes to actually fishing, you can actually see how easy it's going to be to knock out fishing within a month or 2 months. Again, you only have 200 levels, and if you've been already kind of doing it and dabbling in it at the start, you don't really have that many. I started my journey to 200 when I was level 30. So that's where I was like, I'm going to hit 200 and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to see how quickly I can do it. And I ended up averaging about 5 levels a day while playing. So it didn't take me overall too long to get there. I don't know why I'm doing a medium cast. Here I am talking, thinking, and trying to actually make this guide valuable to you. So note that those are some tips and tricks, and hopefully this will help you continue to grind out fishing. Again, I would point you back to the town boards. Town boards are very valuable because they can actually tell you what fish or items that you might catch and you might not realize actually has a lot of value. So be sure to list those on the market, and you'll find yourself swimming, pun intended, in plenty of coin to be able to make your debut. Now, overall, you can always decide to break these down for parts. You can, if you never know, you can right click, you can say salvage, and you're going to get various different items that will tell you fish guts and other kinds of things that you might be able to extract from fishing while using this. So again, you don't need bait, but I would recommend it because it's going to save you all kinds of time, speed you up. Do the Fisherman's Quest because it's going to end up rewarding you with plenty of gear that's going to make fishing all the better. And at the end of the day, keep tossing your rod in, well, not the whole rod, but keep tossing it in at least at different spots so that way you can continue to rack it up. And again, if you do something like just simply putting out 1 level a day, you're going to actually hit that goal before you know it. At some point, you're going to actually look up and you're like, oh man, I'm well over 100. Oh man, I'm well over 150. And then it just becomes that making that habit out of it. Hopefully you found something valuable in this guide. And if you did, feel free to let me know and in the comments, or leave a like, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more New World content. Thanks so much for your time. Hopefully you have a wonderful day. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video. But until then, take care.
Yeah. It's time to chill out on the couch and read some comments. That's right. You know me when it comes to Destiny. I'm off with the clan, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh yeah.